difference with, I think, what you're picturing of like your typical CNCF project, let's say, where community is very different. I would call that actually an ecosystem.
Okay. What's the distinction?
Well, the distinction for me is that our community is defined by a shared vision and a shared excitement about specifically the Dagger brand and the product behind it and using it. So it's all power users or aspiring power users.
Okay.
It's not a bunch of different companies that have different interests, different motivations, maybe are competitors, but happen to collaborate on a well-defined piece of tech. That does not meet my definition of community. I'm saying other people can do what they want, but what we call our community is different, right? With Docker, we learned that the hard way because a lot of people said the community, talking about our community. Mm-hmm. So we allowed others to define what our community was and wasn't. And usually it was in the shape of competitors who were not excited about our brands, didn't have a shared vision with us, were not particularly rooting for our success as a company, we're not using our product, but they did want to collaborate on a shared piece of tech, which is completely legitimate. But that's an ecosystem. And then eventually we spun out some separate open source projects and donated them to CNCF so that, that ecosystem had a place to go. And so if there's Containerd, there's Run C, the OCI spec, etc. Is that a community? Yeah, sure, maybe. But the Docker community, really the core of it, which we realized, are Docker users. Mostly they're developers and DevOps people, less so infrastructure folk. I think the infrastructure community either actively hated or just generally resisted adoption of Docker for good reasons, because it was kind of designed to kind of bypass them. And it was not designed, primarily for them. And it's something new and unstable, and who's going to be on the hook to fix it, at 4 a.m, of course. It's not going to be the developer, right? So what I mean is we realized over time that the Docker community is a community of developers. And so over time, we just kind of, in fact, the tension was internally was that it was hard to kind of reconcile everyone at Docker that was true. And there were just a lot of possible paths to take. Anyway, in our case, when we have tension with the community, it's users saying, this is broken. Could you fix it? Or could you prioritize things? Or we bike shed a lot on the design of the next API thing, but we kind of turn it into a positive thing. Like we have this private joke that, bike shedding is healthy. You bike shed once a day, and it's all done in good spirits. So it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. There's really no room for let's say Red Hat decided, oh, Dagger is awesome. I'm gonna build OpenShift 4 on it. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna support the Dagger. I'm gonna be the Dagger corporate sponsor. Well, there's no place really to do that. It's just not the right